Hello, welcome to Space Xbox. I am Uncle Mike, and this is Mission 3 and the briefing and build video. Let's jump into mission control, see what contracts are available for us, and let's get to the build. All right, into mission control. And if I remember from last video or from mission 2, we had orbit Kerbal. So we're going to go ahead and get that contract, and let's get to the build here to get to orbit. Let's go into the VAB. Into the VAB. And let's load up. So let's open, there it is, open a vehicle. And let's grab the Phoenix Beta Mark 1. This was the vehicle that we used in Mission 2 to get to space. But we are now going to need to modify this vehicle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and separate and keep this right here, this little stage, is what we did was at the end of Mission 2, in the debriefing, we unlocked the Terrier engine, which is a excellent engine that has a large specific impulse, which gives us a tremendous amount of change of momentum in space. So this will probably be our orbital insertion engine. So we're going to go ahead and place that now. So now we actually have our first second stage, or our two-stage vehicle. I'm going to change it to the orange and gray. So there is now, there we go. Here is now our vehicle that will propel us into orbit, or at least that's the plan. I think we're going to be able to get to orbit. I think we're just going to have to sacrifice some of our thrust to weight ratio on liftoff to be able to carry enough fuel to insert into orbit. But it's not just orbital insertion, because I really don't want to create a rescue mission. I also want to have enough fuel for the deorbit burn to bring Valentina, our chief pilot, back to Kerbal. So because now we have this smaller, let's go ahead and reduce the force of our decoupler very, very low. So there we go. So there is that. Now what we're going to need is another decoupler, because now we're going to have our booster, or our stage 1. And because we're going to put on some larger fuel tanks, I'm going to cut that in half. So actually all of this can go away, and let's just rebuild now our main stage. So we unlocked also the larger fuel tanks. Let's go and put them into the Uncle Mike variant, which is the orange and gray. So now what we're going to need to do is just see how many of these we can put on to get our thrust to weight ratio. So let's try 3 to begin with. That looks good. Let's put our swivel on. That is our main engine that we have been using here. Go ahead and put that on. Let's check now our thrust to weight ratio. It's 1.5. I like that, but it's now less than 2,000 meters per second in terms of delta V, or change of velocity. And I don't think that's going to be enough to get us high enough for this second stage with its little Terrier engine to boost us into orbit. So what we're going to do is we're going to add one more of these fuel tanks. Go ahead and put that on there. Vehicle still looks good. And now our 1.29. So that's still enough thrust to weight to get off the launch pad. We're now carrying over 2,000 meters per second of delta V. So I like that. So I'm going to go with that, but we need to change a few things here on our new variant of the Phoenix Beta, which is now going to be the Mark 2 because now we are 2 stage. So we have now our booster phase, or our stage, which will be our launch phase. Why do I keep saying phase? Huh. Brain is weird. The brain is weird. Our first stage, which will be our booster stage, and then our insertion stage or second stage. But we also need our aerodynamic fins. So I put our aerodynamic fins down here. Let's change the, here we go, to 3. Let's put our 3 fins on here. Let's go ahead and save this while we've got it there. All right, so now who's we, huh? I have been not doing the science that I should be doing. So if we think about this, we cannot do any extra vehicular activities right now. I have not unlocked that, so I'm not too worried about covering up the door. But let's think about this. What we need science for now at the launch pad, low atmospheric flight, upper atmospheric flight, in space, and then landing. But I've done some of those, so let's carry 4 science. Let's go ahead and put 4 science on here. We are going to go ahead and move those in. There we go. Now we did unlock also in science on mission 2, now the barometer. Let's go ahead and put 4 barometers on here. So there is now our new vehicle with the science. Let's check this. We got chute opens at 5,000. The decoupler, this one's at 5 or half force, 50%. This one's very low because it's going to just shoot off a very small little fuel tank once we're ready for the deorbit and landing. We've got our science. What else do we have? Oh, I know what else we... Ooh, man, that was almost a mistake. We also unlocked in mission 2 new and improved heat shield. That should give us much more survivability. There we go. There is, I think, the complete Phoenix Beta Mark II. It's got a bunch of science. We now have our orbit insertion stage, or our second stage, our booster stage. I think that is now the new variant for the Phoenix Beta Mark II. One of the things we need to do is we need to change Jebediah out for Valentina. There we go. So that is there. So now the Phoenix Beta Mark II is ready to go. It looks amazing. So yes, that is now the Phoenix Beta Mark II ready to satisfy our contract, which is to orbit Kerbal. So this has been Mission 3's briefing and build video for SpaceX Bucks. I am Uncle Mike, and I will see you in video 2 for Mission 3. And let's get to orbit.
It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors.